So I think I've been lying to myself about my art progress because honestly don't really see much of a progress right now. And yeah, I'm just gonna share about my thoughts and feelings from this week. Basically, as an artist that is also working full time, it's very hard for me to find inspiration anymore on anything. And I used to be one of the most inspired kids in the school, where I would do all my best to try to improve my skills as an artist. I feel like the AI industry thing has really changed my perspective on what skill really means, because AI really changed how art is viewed in other people's eyes. Now they say, as long as you have the machine can do all of the art for you, which is true, but you don't know why things are. And I feel like when you are drawing something, you're really just observing most of the world, and how you perceive art is the way you see the world. And when you just take a computer and put it in, yeah, the computer can show the world for you, but you're not really using your own hands to view the world, if that makes sense. So, like I said, I used to be one of the best artists in my elementary school. I think I felt like it was a way to show my superiority. I didn't have many other talents other than art and music, but I think that moving to a university really changed the way I saw myself, especially an art university. The art university really showed me that I was just a small fish in a huge school of fish, and really, I wasn't that special. And so I think the more I stayed in that environment, it actually had a negative effect on me as a person, because I viewed art as my inspiration source and my confidence source. And when you took that away from me, it really just changed the way I saw myself. And I wanted to prove that I was better, which is not the best mindset, I must say, but it is true. Like, as an art kid, like, you had your whole identity wrapped around being an artist, and then you're placed in a place where everyone else is an artist. Ideally, you would make lots of friends, yes, and you'll talk about all the things you have in common. But on the other side, you're also just comparing yourself to your friends and noticing how you're better or worse than others. And so, I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. So if you are still doing art like on the side for yourself and you're doing it as a hobby, I'd say keep it. It actually makes you happier. To be able to make art just for making art's sake is one of the best things you can do as an artist. Once you have your art become a job, maybe every time you do it, you'll feel stress because you want to make money. And then that money is not going to buy you all of happiness, because money to an extent is needed, but once you have all of the money you could have, and you have all your resources, you have your house, you have your car, then what else are you going to use the money for other than to keep it all? So I've been thinking recently about this channel, and the direction that I started this channel with was originally to create something that would be able to help me improve my comics and the people that view my comics on webtoons. But it's been like 2 years since this channel started, like a year and a half, and there's been not a lot of progress. Yeah, for sure, I've gained some followers, like because of that one video of me talking about me as a successful or ish artist, like kind of an artist, where I kind of just told you my life story as an artist. But other than that video, there's not a lot of videos that really like blew up. And then I've been thinking, like, the use of this channel, is it for me to make money, or is it for me to share my knowledge and my journey and my ideas, and to inspire new artists to kind of also do what they love? And I think if I view it in a way where I'm trying to help you all make yourself inspired and we're in this together, it is a much better way than me trying to think of YouTube as a money making source. And I think that if I were to go back in time 10 years ago, when I was still like a very young child, and made like this YouTube video, my ideas would probably be different than what I have right now, right? So at this point, I'm just thinking, like, if I could inspire my 10-year-old self with this channel, that would be enough for me. Because that's kind of what YouTube is for. It's for sharing, it's for community, it's for one day being able to see all of you in person. And then we can all talk about our journeys, talk about making art, making webtoons, reading webtoons, making comics, being famous, having a dream that doesn't die the second you post it on the internet. And then that dream, you know, if we keep it alive, maybe one day it will really be a true thing. Well, let's say it's inevitable, for example, that if we really do keep this up, if I really do keep up my YouTube channel, and you on the other side of this computer also keeps up your drawing skills, and you keep going, then of course you're gonna be famous. Or at least your skills will be good enough for you to be famous. And then you look back and you're like, oh wow, I did all that. In a way, it's a way of a reason to live. And I've been thinking about this reason to live for a bit. And I think as people, why do we do the things we do? As an artist, why do I make the art that I make? In the beginning, it's obviously because I thought that that's going to give me some sort of recognition, you know, right? Like as a child, that was my only confidence source. And then as I grow older, and now I'm like in an actual career that's not art related, but still, you know, it has to do with people. And then I see these students and kids going into school. They don't really know what they want, right? They're just there because of school. And then I think back to myself when I was young. I had this huge goal of mine to make myself into something. And then I worked really, really hard and I made it. And then I looked back and I was proud of myself. But then my goal keeps shifting. Like I will never stop making new goals. Like I just keep going. So the next goal of mine is for this YouTube channel to come up with 600 subs, which I don't know. Wait, I think it's 800. 600 is for my webtoon. But basically, the goal keeps shifting, and then we keep striving for the new goal. And then when we get to the goal, yes, awesome. You gain a new skill. You leveled up. And then what? Are you just going to keep staying there as you are, or are you going to keep going, moving forward, learning new things? And then when you finish learning all these things, you look back at your life, and I guess that's life, right? You just keep having new things you want. Once you reach it, you go to a new thing, and then, but where's the idea of like savoring it? Like it's like being full. When you have no food, you want the food. You're starving. You're hungry. Then you eat the food. And it's delicious, okay? Maybe it takes you like 30 minutes. Maybe it takes you an hour, depending on the person. You savor it, some of you, and then you're full again. And then you just wait until you're hungry. So, I don't know. Is making art really a goal in of itself? Like, yes, I met this goal. I got 800 subs, for example. Yes, I got the YouTube plaque. And then? Like, what's the point of doing that if I didn't enjoy the process? So, I've been thinking why I wanted to make YouTube. And I think my original idea was not from the right place. Like, I'm supposed to think of YouTube as a place to connect with all of you, which I think I've been doing. But it's like, people are busy, right? You're not going to watch this YouTube video. Well, maybe you will, but you got other stuff to do. And then, yeah, so that's just kind of my thoughts for this week. And just throwing it out there. Thanks for my ramble. And I'll see you next week. Next week. And it'll be June next time I see you. Just close to the summer. And there maybe then we can... I've been trying to start a live stream, but it's not been working because I don't know how to set it up on my webcam thing. But if not, maybe one day we'll be able to have an art meetup. Yeah, that'll be fun. Not sure how that's gonna work for online groups. Or maybe a Zoom call. Or Discord. Does anybody want a Discord channel? I could try hosting one. And then we can all like draw comics on that Discord channel and chill out. Or we can just... You can just watch this YouTube video and join me on my progress of getting to an art goal. I think the main reason of making this is also to document my journey, right? Document my journey as an artist and the process of making art, sharing that process, and kind of preventing AI from becoming an actual thing that will substitute this process of art creating. And webtoons is really fun. Making comics is really fun. You just have to find your own rhythm and then you make it. I've been thinking of making some new characters for my inner bakery. Like thinking of making characters that are actually revolved around my life. People I've met, stories I've heard, things I've observed, and then turning them into a story, which could be useful for some of you. If just look at your life right now, what do you feel like you have the most experience with? That's probably the thing you can write a story about. And then just change the perspective of that thing, and you got yourself a good story. Now, obviously you want to make sure there's like beginning, middle, end. There's conflict. I think my problem is I don't have a lot of conflict in my comics, which make it hard to understand. So I might try to include more of that for my next season. This season is ending for my Inner Bakery, season 1. And I changed the beginning of it a little bit to make it more enticing. So right now, if you're interested, my Inner Bakery is about a baker, Charisse, and she has been trying her best to help others, but every time she helps others, she will lose a part of herself. And then she bakes these bakery pastries for these spirits that are coming to her for help, and then the spirits leave when they're happy, but she loses a part of herself, like her memory or her hand or whatever. So I'm redrawing those parts because I think this is a loophole in my story. And then season 1 is ending soon, and then I'm thinking of taking a short hiatus for my second season, and then I'll keep going. Or idea number 2 is I could come up with a totally new story about romance. A romance comedy between an AI robot and a girl, but I don't know. Should I keep going? I should. I always have the trouble of just switching to something when I'm bored. And it's hard to stick to a comic, I find. It's really hard to stick to one storyline, especially when you're an artist. Or is it just me? I don't know. It's tough. So I'm just going to ask you if you are interested in a season 2 of Inner Bakery. Right now I got 300 subs on the webtoon, and I don't know, maybe it's not a very strong idea. Maybe it's too niche for people to really get into. Romance is definitely a more popular genre because we all love romance. I'm personally a romantic myself. I call myself a lover girl. But we could do that, or we could just stick to Inner Bakery and try to add some romantic stories in there. Maybe we could talk about like romantic issues, whatever that means. I mean, if you know me, I've been single most of my life, so I don't know. just make things up. But we could do that. We could talk about that. Just rambling at this point. Okay, thank you so much for listening in, and I'll see you next week.